Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Susan Ryder, and I wanted to walk through our first assignment. Because I had so many great questions this week, I thought, why not come on and actually do some some responses to everyone so everyone can enjoy the information at the same time. So I'm going to share my screen, and here it is. Here's our assignment. Module 1. Okay, so what I'm going to share with you is, and I know some of you have already submitted. No worries there. No worries. And if you want to submit again because you have some ideas, that's perfectly fine. When you identify your topic, and we write in third person, in your beginning introduction, you are going to simply say what the topic is, and in that it is the focus of the scholarly writing, your progress through the scholarly writing course. Scholarly writing can be very dry sometimes, but it's also very matter of fact. Every sentence has a purpose. Every paragraph has a purpose, and hopefully you were able to view the image that I shared from one of my old PowerPoints, where it's talking about every paragraph. The first sentence of every paragraph defines the information in that paragraph. You are about to learn this, this, and this in that paragraph. Of course, you don't write it that way. You simply state what you're talking about. Hummingbirds is the focus of my scholarly writing course this time, however you want to word it. When you identify items, then you also have to define them. We'll stick with hummingbirds. If I wanted to focus only on hummingbirds in the Midwest, it would be a very different paper than if I was dealing with, say, Southern California. Totally different. So I identify that. I define it. Plain and simple, identify. And then when we get to discussing the literature, I'm going to show you a chapter 2 checklist here in just a moment. In fact, why don't I do it now because I have it ready to go. I have some things highlighted for you. Just so you see, this is also, if you're curious about what's expected in the dissertation, I don't want to distract you, but please know all of the checklists and our course is it's like a itty bitty chapter 2. So that's why I'm going to share this. I was a TOR for chapter 2 for 2 years. So this has been something I've worked with quite a lot. Here's you identify, you give brief synopsis. You're not having to do all these things with problems and backgrounds and all that. Our course is brief. Just know that this is where we're headed, and it's exciting because by the time you get there, it's just going to be, you're going to be great. It's going to be great. All right. So when you are talking about the 2 sources you found too, right? You have an ACE library database. Information was the two references for the current paper, however you want to word it. One was located in the ACE one source database or EBSCOhost, whatever database you used. And the other can be books, government websites, and professional organizations. So it says something that most people, our assignment says, it identifies something most people have access to. We all have access to professional organization websites, government websites, because in education, there's no avoiding government, in my opinion, simply because all policies and practices are governed or have some level of governance, ANCE. Okay, so these are the acceptable ones. What's not? Newspapers, magazines, blogs are not acceptable sources according to ACE and or any dissertation or any scholarly writing, simply because they are known for their bias, which is fine. And if you dare to use one, which I just don't suggest it because it's not worth your energy to have to talk a full circle around a potential bias, or that, how the influence of the owner of that product is guiding a particular narrative. There, that's about the simplest way to say it, is that choose wisely. It's important, okay? So there's that. Let's get back over here. So we've located. So simply say where your sources are, where you got them. One, the scholarly article was located using the ACE library. just state how you found it, okay? Or where you found it and provide that full reference. You're going to compare the two, and that is synthesizing the two. When you synthesize, you're talking about a topic and you're blending authors by comparing, contrasting. Where are they similar? How are they different? And again, when you look to that paragraph slide that I put into the discussions, you'll see you define in that first sentence, then you're describing and you're comparing or analyzing, and then you can transition into the next paragraph. Well, we have 2 to 3 pages of content. Obviously, why not bring in other references? Because only talking about 2 for 2 pages may seem a little redundant. It's okay to bring in more. The focus of module 1 is to go find them. Simply the process of locating. Now, when it comes to more effective, think a little bit bigger than that. A scholarly article is great because it is a bracketed amount of time from the point A of that research to the beginning of the proposal to the findings. It's encapsulated within that study. Whereas, say, an encyclopedia or a government website or a professional organization, they have more depth. So the scholarly article has the depth of the references included and everything encapsulated into that work. Books and other items have much broader scope, and oftentimes, over an extended period of time. So when we're talking about more effective, figure out why both are equally effective, but compare them as to what are the benefits of each. Maybe what is a weakness of each. And that will help you expand the content for your full 2 to 3 pages of content. And remember that the title page and reference page, so it'll be pages in the future, do not count in the total content. Introductions do not need a heading. Level 1 headings are all center space, bold. Have your introduction explaining your topic or your choice. The next heading can be your sources, how you found them, literature search. If you are over here, this section is literally called the literature search strategy. You can use that heading if you want. Scholarly voice is third person. Now, I've had questions in the past about how we differ from a standard composition class to finding our voice or using our voice. Consider the fact on this side of writing, your name is on the paper, so it's you. Your reference choices are done with your energy. Your interpretation of them all are speaking from you. So your voice, your intent is consistent, especially writing in third person because you're having to be very direct. As if you're standing in front of people, think of it that way. They know it's you because you're talking. It's you. Right. So we're going to also avoid they, these, like these who. Avoid words like that imply a number, but don't have a definition. Many, few, some. There's words to avoid. They're also in the student comments, which is where you can find any doctoral or concept paper checklist. So you have an idea of how our short assignments are working in to the overall goals. One last thing, speaking of hummingbirds. Yes, this is the value of in-text citation is showing where you found your work. I'm trying to talk fast. I hope I'm talking fast enough. You must give credit where credit is due. When you give a statement, you have to have your according to whom in that in-text citation. This is my standard. If I wasn't born knowing something, I need to give credit to where I learned it. Otherwise, it is simply not effective and it's not acceptable. We have to give credit to the original authors, those primary sources. This was pulled off Yahoo or DuckDuckGo images just because I typed in in-text citation so we could have a quick visual. The reason I also use that, and I'm telling you, this one is from Weebly. that it's because there's so many examples out there on APA websites that it should be very easy to adapt and make sure you're using a lot of in-text citations for I've taught in higher ed since 2007. Wow. And the number one thing in all these years has been making sure students give credit where credit is due. You cannot just make statements without having them backed up. Number one. Okay, so there is this. All right, I think we've covered just about everything I needed to. I hope I've answered some questions, topic choices, in-text citations, where to find references, and please send me any more questions when you have them. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care.